Phil Mickelson has played Augusta National 32 times, won 3 green jackets, and spent 3 decades making the Masters feel like his personal stage. But this year, he won't be there. No injury, no suspension, just a family health matter. Serious enough to keep him away from LIV's first 4 events of the season, and now the tournament he loves more than any other. For the first time since 1994, the Masters will be played without either Tiger Woods or Phil Mickelson in the field. And the golf world is sitting with a question that nobody really wants to answer. Is this the end of an era? On April 1st, 2026, just days before the opening tee shot at Augusta National, Mickelson posted a statement that landed like a punch to the chest of every golf fan who grew up watching him compete. Unfortunately, I will not play in the Masters tournament next week and will be out for an extended period of time as my family continues to navigate a personal health matter, he wrote. I have great respect for Augusta National Golf Club, and it is definitely the most special week of the year. I wish everyone the best of luck and will be watching. The words were measured and gracious, but the weight behind them was impossible. To miss, this was not a routine withdrawal. This was Phil Mickelson stepping back from the place he had called home every day. April for over 30 years, Augusta National Chairman Fred Ridley responded with the kind of dignified statement the club has always been known for. We know how much Phil loves the Masters tournament, and he will be missed by everyone in Augusta next week, Ridley said. He has our complete support as he takes time to be with his family. Behind that composed institutional language, however, was an undeniable reality. The tournament was losing one of the 2 most recognizable faces in its modern history, and it was losing both of them in the same year. Tiger Woods had already stepped away from golf following his DUI arrest, pleading not guilty and demanding a jury trial, leaving his entire future in the sport uncertain. Together, the 2 men had combined to win 8 green jackets and define what the Masters looked like for an entire generation of fans. Mickelson's history at Augusta is the kind of resume that belongs in a category all its own among active players. His 3 victories in 2004, 2006, and 2010 place him behind only Jack Nicklaus, Tiger Woods, and Arnold Palmer in the modern era. His 2010 final round, a 67 that featured a near-impossible recovery shot from the pine straw on the 13th hole, remains one of the most talked-about performances in Masters history. He has 16 top 10 finishes at Augusta, a number only Nicklaus and Woods can top. And the image of him leaping onto the 18th green after his winning birdie putt dropped in 2004, so iconic that it became his personal logo, a symbol of pure, uncontained joy that the sport rarely gets to witness at that level. The Champions Dinner on Tuesday evening, where past winners gather each year to honor the defending champion, would feel the absence immediately. Rory McIlroy, as the defending champion and host of this year's dinner, acknowledged it directly. Obviously, there are 2 that won't be with us this year, which is a shame, McIlroy said, but hopefully they will be with us in the future, and I'm sure they will be. Patrick Reed was characteristically more blunt about what the dual absence means for the sport as a whole. Let's be honest, Reed said. Without Tiger Woods and Phil Mickelson in the events, in golf, when they both step away, honestly, I feel it hurts the game of golf. The seats where the 2 legends normally sit will remain empty, surrounded by the likes of Gary Player, Jack Nicklaus, and Tom Watson, champions whose legacies are secure but whose days of contending at Augusta are long behind them. The warning. Signs of Mickelson's extended absence had been building for months before the formal Masters withdrawal. The 2026 LIV Golf season opened in Riyadh without him, then Adelaide passed, and then Hong Kong, and then Singapore. 4 events came and went with no Phil Mickelson. His team, the High Flyers GC, cycled through replacements, Ali Schneiderjans. In Riyadh, Wade Ormsby at the next 3 stops and slid to 12th out of 13 teams in the standings. The silence from Mickelson's side was the loudest part of all of it. The man who had never stopped talking throughout his entire career, who had opinions on everything and shared them freely, had gone completely quiet. In January, he had released a brief statement saying he and his wife, Ami, needed to be present for a family health matter, and that he looked forward to competing again as soon as possible. That was all anyone got. No details, no timeline, No indication of what the family was facing or how serious it truly was. Mickelson did eventually return. Briefly, for Live South Africa, where he finished tied for 48th. It was a showing that made clear the time away had taken something out of him, or at least that he was nowhere close to his competitive best. And then came the Masters withdrawal, and the confirmation that whatever the family was navigating had not resolved. The golf world had been patient and respectful, understanding that privacy matters and that some things are bigger than the sport, but the concern was real and growing. Fans who had watched him compete for 3 decades found themselves hoping for news. Any news that offered some reassurance? Augusta National, for its part, handled the situation with its customary composure. The club does not depend on any single player to sell its product. The Masters is the product. The course, the traditions, the azaleas, the roars from Amen Corner, the green jacket. Players come and go. The institution endures. "We have a lot of confidence in the field," Ridley said. "The Masters is about more than any one player. It always has been. It always will be." That is true, and the 2026 field is genuinely strong. Scottie Scheffler enters as the favorite. McIlroy is the defending champion. Jon Rahm, Bryson DeChambeau, and Colin Morikawa are all capable of winning. The next generation of golf stars is ready, and one of them will walk off the 18th green on Sunday with a green jacket. But for the millions of fans who grew up watching Tiger and Phil go at each other at Augusta, the tournament will carry a particular emptiness this year, a quiet that no amount of spectacular golf can fully fill. "Tiger and Phil are the reason I fell in love with this game," one fan wrote on social media after the withdrawal was announced. "It's going to be strange watching the Masters without them. It's going to feel like something is missing." That sentiment is as honest a summary as any. For a generation of golf fans, Mickelson at Augusta was not a storyline. It was a given. The man with the big shoulders and the bigger smile, hitting shots that no one else would even think about attempting. Grinning at the gallery, feeding off the energy of a crowd that adored him. That presence will be absent from Augusta National this April, and its absence will be felt in every corner of the property. What comes next for? Mickelson remains genuinely unknown. The family health matter is private, and that privacy deserves to be respected. There is no timeline for a return, no indication of whether he will play again at Augusta or anywhere else this season. He is 55 years old, a 6-time major champion, and a man who has never stopped believing he has more left to give. "I'm not done," he has said. "I've got too much left for that." Whether the golf world gets to see that competitive fire burn again at Augusta remains to be seen, but those who have watched him long enough know better than to count Phil Mickelson out. The Masters will be played this week. A champion will be crowned. The azaleas will bloom, just as they always do. But one of the great stories in the history of this tournament is on pause. No one, not even Mickelson himself, knows exactly when or how the next chapter begins.